what's up? Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for this very special edition of On The Record. And we have Lasana and Vinood in the house. So, I don't know where to start, so you know what? I'm going to let you guys play rock, paper, scissors. Whoever wins, we're going to start with whatever all you want to talk about.
According to Lasana earlier on, let's start with the best sport in the world.
Was that cycling?
I think he misquoted me, yeah, but all the same, yeah, I want to hear someone was going to camp for sure across in New Zealand.
You know, Lasana seems,
cricket.
I realized that Lasana actually wants to know what's going on behind the scenes.
Cricket?
You know.
All right, let's talk cricket. First thing, let's start West Indies cricket. What's going on?
Well,
Should we even be watching this?
Well, it seems to be a lot. You ask what's going on. It seems to be a lot going on because at the end of the day, you look at the mood as Lasana asks about it. You look at the mood. You look at the body language of the players in India and even in New Zealand. It's actually worse in New Zealand if you look at it. Something definitely is not right with that entire.
Part of it is because in your mind you know you can't beat India, and then in your mind you're thinking maybe I have a chance. Oops, nope, no chance. Hope is gone, isn't it?
Well, I don't want to say hope is gone, but definitely something is not right within that setup down in New Zealand. You know, there have been reports coming out of New Zealand with people saying all sorts of things. I don't want to repeat what my good friend Lasana
Why you can't say? You see, this like me talking about my talk number.
Because last time I checked my wardrobe, I had nothing to go to court with.
Right. No, well, Lasana have no fear.
Yes, I know that.
Well-recognized face in the courtrooms. International.
I can let him something, man.
Well, on a serious note, you look at the team and you could see this team is disjointed. And when a team is not winning, all sorts of problems would pop up. You'll find men blaming men asking what's a certain man's role in the team. Is he throwing off the balance of the team? You have Sunil Narine down there. The man gets the game and takes 6 for 91.
I'm not watching that there.
You had Shane Chillingford before they discovered that he was throwing the faster one, right? You could imagine Shane Chillingford was very successful and has been the most successful West Indies bowler for the past year. Let's say a year and a half. You have him on one end and Sunil Narine on the other end.
And they're still losing?
No. They didn't give it that chance. That
Right.
But
they pulled Chillingford for the suspect action.
They had to.
And I don't know, I didn't see it. All I know is that they have a 15-degree thing, whatever. I'm going to leave that up for you. Read about that. We ain't going to talk about all them technical details. But let's just say, for the record, Shane Chillingford is no longer going to be able to bowl.
Well, he has a year to do corrective.
Right.
There's a procedure that you have to go through, and then off and on you go back to the ICC. They would send you at certain centers to be tested, and then you're allowed to come back. Whether or not he can come back for a second time, I think it all depends on him. It's going to be very difficult for a sportsman, to come back after a second time being called for, he was called for throwing. Remember, sport is a very psychological thing. People tend to miss that point at times. Cricket is a very mental game.
Right.
Not only chess, right? And with that playing in the back of his mind, how effective would he be when he comes back?
Right.
You would have noticed the Prime Minister in Dominica, where he lives, came out in support of him. And people were making the comments, why would a Prime Minister get himself involved in coming out and talking about it? Is he looking for just some publicity on sport where things are basically, if Lasana and Ibu is not writing about it, it's calm, right? But he came out because it was structured in that way. He needs to hear, and that's Chillingford now, he needs to hear from people that they are in support of him.
Right.
Because it's a mental thing, as I told you before. But the point I was getting at earlier on, you had Sunil Narine in that team, and you were not using him. You had Shane Chillingford, who was doing well. And the point I was making to you, if these two guys were bowling in tandem,
right,
I'm telling you, Tay, the results would have been different.
Right. But cricket is a sport. It's not just the bowling. It's the conditions, it's the pitch, it's the this. But since when we are talking about a West Indies team that's so reliant on spin? Spin used to be like oh, by the way, a kind of accessory. Now it's like the main item. That's the main menu item.
Well, it's causing a problem now because our psyche in the Caribbean here is that we think that only fast bowlers could win matches because they did it for us in the past. They took us to the top of the world. They kept us there for 10, 12 years.
Right.
We have to accept the fact that spinners do win matches. You know, I was telling someone this recently. If Shane Warne was a West Indian, he would have been a failure at Test cricket because the
You would have never played with that long
the
service.
first Test match he played was against India at the SCG, which was a spinning wicket, and he returned none for 155.
So that would
Could
have
you
been the end of
imagine
that.
a West Indian spinner returning those figures? He would have never seen the maroon
like
cap
that.
again.
Right.
You understand? So I think there's an issue with the selection of the team. There's an issue with the selectors. You have the same bunch of jokers around selecting players who have been failing for such a long time. In any sport, and Lasana will tell you in football, they would have been out of here a long time. The coach, Otis Gibson, he continues to bring, in recent times, I mean,
They keep using the analogy they turn in the corner.
which corner is it? They
I
haven't
think
even reached the
right
corner.
now we need to stop using that and we should just say they're spinning top in mud because that's the only corner they really turn. They're spinning around.
Unless
They're like a dog chasing their own tail.
Unless that corner is the Queen's Park Savannah.
It's like a race from King George V.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have accountability everywhere, you know, and just like he spoke about his selectors and so on. If a player doesn't do his job, he knows what's going to happen to him, and
Yeah.
same with the coach and so on. And then you have to identify what the selector's role is and look to see if it's being done properly and if you're satisfied with the results.
But you know, that's a very interesting point that you brought up there, Lasana, because these players are all on retainer contracts.
Right.
So they're paid a monthly salary in addition to whenever they're selected to play for the West
And it's
Indies.
like about what? 50,000 US?
Well, it varies.
What's the range?
It varies.
50,000 is
It's-
the average though.
Yeah, I think it varies from 9,000 US
Right.
to 35
To 35.
a month.
3,500 US a month?
1,000.
35. You see, I'm in the wrong spot. Man, I like to play basketball. I'm gonna rewind the clock and I'm gonna get some cricket in there. No, seriously, $9,000 to $35,000 US.
I don't know
a month.
you playing cricket if you can get a helmet on top of your head with that
See
hairstyle.
why? See.
So Vinu, these guys get these kind of retainers and then still turn up for a tour and fit.
That's my point, Lasana. You said it just now. They have to be accountable to someone. If you are on a retainer contract, and I don't know if you all would have seen what it entails, a retainer contract. You have to do a certain number of hours in the gym.
Right.
You have certain things that you must reach, certain marks you must hit monthly. But yet, there are no one in the different territories. Remember, it's not one country.
But you have things like beep tests that you could assert. You could
Who's going to do
ascertain.
it? Who's going to do it?
You have a point there, really.
You know,
Maybe they should do a beep test in the WICB boardroom there.
I'll go ahead, test there. But anyhow, remember we are split
Right.
amongst, amongst a number of islands, as you know, would
It's
represent the
very
West Indies.
difficult to manage all those divested interests. It's so.
But the WICB has territorial development officers in each island.
Right.
Why don't they put him in charge and make the players report to him? The territorial development officer in Trinidad and Tobago is a guy by the name of Kumar Rampat, who is based at the National Cricket Center in
I know,
Cuba.
Mark, yeah.
So fellas like Ramdin and Rampal and all these guys, they should be reporting to him on a monthly basis.
Right. But
So,
this is not happening.
Going back to Lasana's point, there's no accountability with even that.
So
So you're being paid for something that you're
at
not
the
putting in
success in
hand.
these other formats, right? You have your tests, you have your T20, which seems to be like the crack cocaine of cricket these
Crack
days.
cocaine.
Everybody wants to get high on T20,
Yeah.
and then you have the 50 overs, one day internationals, right? So we've had mixed fortunes. Trinidad, especially, done very well at the T20 internationally. West Indies as well. But when you look at the longer formats, you ask yourself, where does it fall off? Why isn't a cricketer able, a West Indies cricketer, able to jump from one to the other with just changing the program? What is going on? What is preventing that?
Well, there are some players who could play all three formats.
Right, and they're called Australians, Englishmen, Indians.
Actually, that came to the West Indies. That system of using specialist players for the different formats came to the West Indies last, you know. Yeah, that really started in England and then went to Australia, where they had separate limited overs team, separate test team, and that sort of stuff. I have no problem with that because there are players who are better suited to shorter format.
Yeah.
Right? You would not use Shivnarine Chanderpaul to open in a T20 game. You'll use him in a test match. I still think he has a role to play in 50 overs cricket. 50 overs is a lot of overs to play cricket.
Especially if you're West Indies.
Yeah.
And you know what? That was the opening innings. Venu talking cricket. We're coming right back with Lasana talking some football. It's only fair, right? Don't go nowhere. We on the record.
Tonight.